Welcome back, friends. Welcome back again to one more other lecture session from this channel. So in this lecture session we will be studying regarding one more other chapter from the NCERT, cell cycle and cell division in detail. So here, prior to the explanation of the mechanism involved in cell cycle and cell division in detail, at first let us have a look on the basic introduction part of cell cycle and cell division. So here basically all the living organisms, ranging from the simple living organisms to the complex living organisms, they begin their life cycle from in single cell stage. Is it clear? So let me write it on the board. Basically, all the living organisms, begin their life cycle from a single cell stage, right? So here initially a single ancestral parental cell, it yields two daughter cells. So here let us assume it as a parental cell, right? Parental cell. So here when the parental cell, when it participates in the cell division, it yields two daughter cells. So let us assume these are the daughter cells. Again, each of the daughter cell, again it acts as a parental cell in order to yield another two daughter cells. Is it clear? So these are the daughter cells again. So let me write it here. Daughter cell, right? Again, each of the daughter cell, again they act as a parental cell to yield another two daughter cells. All these are the daughter cells, right? So in this way, from a single ancestral parental cell, multiple cells generally they originate during the cell division. So here, once when many number of cells, once when they aggregate together, they lead to the formation of a tissue. Once when many number of tissues, once when they aggregate together, they lead to the formation of an organ. Once when many number of organs, once when they are arranged in a sequential manner or in a systematic manner, it gives rise to an young organism or a complex living organism. So in this way, from a single ancestral parental cell, a young living organism or complex living organism, generally it originates during the cell division. Is it clear? During the cell division, in single ancestral parental cell yields two daughter cells, right? These two daughter cells, again they act as parental cell to yield another two daughter cells, right? So in that case, once when many number of cells or once when multiple cells, once when they aggregate together, they lead to the formation of tissue, and once when many number of tissues, once when they aggregate together, they lead to the formation of an organ, and once when many number of organs, once when they are arranged in a sequential manner, it gives rise to a young living organism or complex living organism. So here growth and reproduction, they are the important characteristic features of all the living organisms. Is it clear? So let me write here. Growth and reproduction. Growth and reproduction are the important characteristic features of important characteristic features of all the living organisms, right? And then after we will be studying regarding cell cycle. So here what is cell cycle? So let me arrange the things here. And then after we will be studying regarding cell cycle. So here what is cell cycle? Cell division, it is one of the important life process which is observed nearly in case of all the living organisms. So here during the cell division, cell growth and DNA replication also takes place simultaneously in a coordinated fashion. Is it clear? So let us assume it is a parental cell. Parental cell, right? So here, when the parental cell, when it participates in the cell division, it yields two daughter cells. So here, these are nothing but the daughter cells, right? Daughter cells. So during the cell division, cell growth and DNA replication, that means increase in the size of the cell and even the specific DNA which is present within the interior part of the biological cell, it also participates in the replication in order to yield the daughter DNA. So here during cell division, cell growth, that means increase in the size of the biological cell and even the replication of the DNA, all these processes, they take place in a coordinated fashion. Is it clear? So let me write it here. Cell division is one of the important life processes which is observed nearly in case of all the living organisms. Nearly in case of all the living organisms. All the living organisms, right? So here, during the cell division, cell growth, and DNA replication, also take place simultaneously. In a coordinated fashion. Coordinated fashion, right? So here the sequence of events through which the duplication of the genome takes place and even the specific mechanism termed as DNA replication occurs. So here it is termed as cell cycle. So here the sequence of events through which the duplication of the genome and even the synthesis of the daughter DNA from the parental DNA takes place. Here it is termed as cell cycle. Is it clear? The sequence of events through which the duplication of the genome and the synthesis of daughter DNA from the parental DNA from the parental DNA takes place is termed as cell cycle. Termed as cell cycle, right? Cell cycle. So here, after the successful synthesis of the daughter DNA from the parental DNA, now here the specific daughter DNA, it is successfully carried out to the daughter nuclei by a complex series of events. Is it clear? So let me show it here. So let us assume it is a parental DNA. So here from the parental DNA, daughter DNA generally it synthesizes during the replication mechanism. So here, after the successful synthesis of the daughter DNA from the parental DNA, now here the daughter DNA, it is successfully carried out or it successfully transfers to the daughter nuclei by a complex series of events. And here, all these complex series of events, they are regulated under genetic control. Is it clear? The replicated DNA is then successfully carried out to the daughter nuclei by complex series of events. Series of events which are regulated under genetic control. Is it clear? So then after we will be studying regarding phases of cell cycle. So here what are the various phases of cell cycle in detail? So let me arrange the things here. And if you look at the phases of cell cycle, so here an eukaryotic cell cycle, it can be well understood by taking the advantage of human cells in culture. And here the duration of the cell cycle, it remains same or it remains similar in case of all the living organisms with certain exceptions. So nearly in case of all the living organisms, the duration of the cell cycle, it remains very similar. Only in case of certain living organisms, the duration of the cell cycle, it may remain vary. For example, in case of yeast, the duration of the cell cycle, it may range around 1.5 hours or 90 minutes, but whereas in case of humans, the duration of the cell cycle, it may range around 24 hours. Is it clear? So let me write it here. Cell cycle in case of eukaryotes, is well understood by taking the advantage of human cells in culture. So here the duration of the cell cycle, remains very similar in case of all the living organisms. With certain exceptions. All the living organisms with certain exceptions. Right? So here the duration of the cell cycle in case of yeast, the cell cycle in yeast occurs for around 90 minutes. 90 minutes, right? But whereas in humans, in case of humans, it occurs for around 24 hours. 24 hours, right? And here, basically cell cycle, it can be well explained or it can be well studied under two different phases. And here these two different phases, they may include interphase and the other one is mitotic phase. Is it clear? So let me write it here. Basically, cell cycle can be well studied under two different phases. And these may include interphase and the other one is M phase. So at first we will be studying regarding interphase. So here what is interphase? So let me erase the things here. And if you look at the various phases of the cell cycle, so as already mentioned, the specific cell cycle basically has two different phases and these may include interphase and the other one is mitotic phase. So at first if we consider the interphase, out of the 100% of the cell cycle, nearly 95% of the cell cycle, it is spent only in case of interphase. Is it clear? So let me write it here. Interphase is the specific phase where nearly 95% of the cell cycle occurs. Right? So here interphase, though it is called as resting phase, but here the specific interphase, basically it has three different subphases. So here during the interphase, cell becomes ready for undergoing cell growth and even the DNA replication. Is it clear? Interphase, though it is called as resting phase, the specific interphase, basically it has three different subphases. And in addition, during the interphase, cell becomes ready for undergoing cell growth and even the DNA replication. So let me write it here. During the interphase, cell becomes ready for undergoing cell growth and DNA replication. Right? So here during the interphase, basically the specific interphase, it has three different subphases and these may include G1 phase, S phase and G2 phase. So let me write it here. Basically, interphase has three different subphases. These may include G1 phase. So let me write it here. G1 phase, or otherwise known as pre-replicative phase. And the other one is S phase or synthesis phase, right? And the other one is G2 phase. or it is otherwise known as post-replicative phase. Post-replicative phase, right? So here, during the G1 phase, the specific biological cells, though they remain biologically active, but they won't participate in the replication mechanism. During the G1 phase, cells remain biologically active, but they do not participate in replication. Right? And during the S phase, as the name itself suggests, the DNA replication mechanism, it occurs. DNA replication occurs. And in addition to this, especially in case of animal cells, during the specific S phase, the duplication of the centriole takes place. Is it clear? In case of animal cells, in order to regulate the cell division, here the specific duplication of the centriole, it plays an important role. So here, duplication of the centriole, especially in case of animal cells, it occurs or it takes place during the S phase. Duplication of centriole in animals occurs during the S phase, right? And whereas during the G2 phase, the various proteins which are required for organizing the mitosis, they are successfully synthesized during the G2 phase. Is it clear? During the G2 phase, the various proteins which are required for organizing the mitosis, they are successfully synthesized during the G2 phase. Various proteins which are required for organizing mitosis are synthesized during the G2 phase. And if you look at the duration of the various subphases of the interphase, so here G1 phase, it occurs for around 11 hours, right? G1 phase, it occurs for around 11 hours. And whereas S phase, it occurs for around 8 hours. And whereas G2 phase, it occurs for around 4 hours. So here, once when we add all these things, here we get 23 hours, right? So here, out of the 100% of the cell cycle, nearly 95% of the cell cycle, it is spent only in case of interphase. Is it clear? So let me arrange the things here. So here, after the interphase, the next specific phase of the cell cycle period is nothing but M phase or mitotic phase. So here M phase or mitotic phase, it is the specific phase where accurately the cell division occurs. So here cell division, it is the specific term or it is the specific process which is only applicable to the M phase but not to the interphase. So here the specific M phase in general, it begins with the division of nucleus which is termed as karyokinesis, and it ends with division of cytoplasm which is termed as cytokinesis. Is it clear? So let me write it here. M phase is the specific phase where accurately the cell division occurs. So here, during the M phase, division of nucleus which is termed as karyokinesis karyokinesis takes place and ends with division of cytoplasm, which is termed as cytokinesis. Is it clear? And ends with division of cytoplasm, which is termed as cytokinesis. So here, as already mentioned, out of the 100% of the cell cycle, nearly 95% of the cell cycle it is spent only in case of interphase. So here, the duration of the M phase, it relates around only 1 hour. Is it clear? The specific M phase or mitotic phase, it occurs for around only 1 hour. And the rest of the 23 hours, they occur in case of the interphase. M phase occurs for around 1 hour. 1 hour, right? And if you look at the chromosomal number and even the amount of DNA during the various phases of the cell cycle. So here, if you look at the chromosomal number and the amount of DNA, right? So here during the G1 phase, here the chromosomal number, here it is denoted as 2n. Is it clear? During the G1 phase, the chromosomal number, here it is denoted or here it is indicated as 2n. But whereas the amount of DNA, here it is indicated as 2c. So let me write it here. Amount of DNA, here it is nothing but what? 2c. So here, why the chromosomal number, here it is indicated as 2n during the G1 phase. So here basically all the cells in case of humans or basically all the cells in case of eukaryotes, they are diploid in nature. So here what is the meaning of diploid cell here? So let me show it here. So let us assume it is a diploid cell. So basically all the cells in case of humans, they are diploid in nature. That means all the diploid cells, they has 23 pair of chromosomes or 46 chromosomes. Is it clear? So let me write it here. 23 pair of chromosomes. Chromosomes are 46 chromosomes. So here, out of the 46 chromosomes, 23 chromosomes are from the father and the other 23 chromosomes are from the mother. So let us assume it is the father chromosome and here it is the mother chromosome. So here 23 chromosomes are from the father and the other 23 chromosomes are from the mother. So the reason why here the chromosomal number, here it is indicated as 2n. Then why the amount of DNA, here it is indicated as 2c? Because from the mother chromosome, one DNA sequence is available and whereas from the father chromosome, one DNA sequence is available. So the reason why the amount of DNA, here it is indicated as 2c. Is it clear? And during the S phase, the amount of DNA, it becomes 4c. Is it clear? During the S phase, the amount of DNA, it becomes 4c. Because as we all know, during the S phase, DNA replication occurs. So the reason why 2c becomes 4c. But whereas the chromosomal number, here it is denoted as only 2n. So here a question arises in your mind. Why the chromosomal number, here it is denoted as 2n? When the amount of DNA, when it becomes double, obviously the chromosomal number, it has to become double. But whereas instead of indicating or instead of writing as 4n, here the chromosomal number, here it is denoted as only 2n during the S phase. So here why? What is the reason behind? So let me explain it here. So during the S phase, during the S phase, here the chromosomal number it becomes double. During the S phase, the chromosomal number it becomes double. Though the chromosomal number it becomes double during the S phase, but here both the chromosomes they are aligned by taking the advantage of one single centromere. Is it clear? So let us assume it is a chromosome here. So here it is one chromosome and it is the other chromosome. So here both the chromosomes they are aligned by taking the advantage of one single centromere. So the reason why here we cannot consider it as two chromosomes. Instead of considering it as two chromosomes, here we can consider them as sister chromatids. So the reason why though the chromosomal number it increases or it becomes double during the S phase, but here the chromosomal number here it is denoted as only 2n but not 4n. Is it clear? Here we cannot consider them as individual chromosomes. So here though the two chromosomes are present, but both the chromosomes they are aligned by taking the advantage of one single centromere. So the reason why here we cannot consider them as two chromosomes. So the reason why the chromosomal number here it is denoted as only 2n but not 4n. And during the G2 phase, again the chromosomal number here it is 2n, and whereas the amount of DNA again it is 4c. And during the M phase, here the chromosomal number, as we all know during the M phase, from one single ancestral parental cell or from one single parental cell, two daughter cells are obtained, right? So the reason why here during the M phase, the chromosomal number here it is 2n and the amount of DNA it becomes 2c. And whereas in case of the other daughter cell, the chromosomal number again it is 2n and the amount of DNA here it is 2c. So here how the chromosomal number it remains 2n and 2n in case of both the daughter cells during the mitotic cell division. So let me show it here. As I have already mentioned you, during the S phase, the chromosomal number it becomes double. That means initially the specific diploid cell it has 23 pair of chromosomes or 46 chromosomes. But whereas during the S phase, the chromosomal number it becomes double. That means 46 chromosomes they become 92 chromosomes. So here, as we all know, during the mitotic cell division, from one single parental cell, two daughter cells are obtained. So here, once when we divide 92 by 2, so let me show it here. 92 by 2, right? So 2 ones are 2 46 there. That means 46 here. These 92 chromosomes, they are successfully carried out or they are successfully transferred to both the daughter cells as 46 chromosomes and 46 chromosomes. Is it clear? During the anaphase of the mitotic cell division, when the centromere, once when it undergoes splitting, here the 92 chromosomes, they are successfully partitioned as 46 chromosomes and 46 chromosomes. So the reason why the mitotic cell division, or it is otherwise known as equational division, because during the mitotic cell division, likewise the parental cell, even the specific daughter cells, they has same number of chromosomes. So the reason why the mitotic cell division, or it is otherwise known as equational division. Is it clear? So let me erase the things here. And then after here we need to understand regarding the occurrence of mitotic cell division. So here in case of majority of the adult organisms like animals, certain cells especially like heart cells do not appear to exhibit mitotic cell division. So here in case of heart cells, here we can observe the mitotic cell division only during the embryonic stages. But once when the young baby, when it comes out from the vagina of the female reproductive system, here the specific heart cells, they won't participate in case of the mitotic cell division. Is it clear? So let me write it here. In case of certain adult organisms like animals, certain cells do not appear to exhibit mitotic cell division. Mitotic cell division, right? Especially in case of heart cells, right? And here, in case of majority of the living organisms, all the biological cells, they remain metabolically active or biologically active, but temporarily they enter into an inactive stage termed as G0 stage. And depending on the body requirement, in order to replace the damaged cells or injured cells, these specific cells, initially which are under inactive stage, they are capable to participate in the mitotic cell division in order to replace the damaged cells or injured cells. Is it clear? In case of majority of the living organisms, all the biological cells, they remain metabolically active, but temporarily they enter into an inactive stage termed as G0 stage. And here, depending on the body requirement, in order to replace the damaged cells or injured cells, these specific cells, initially which are under G0 stage or inactive state, these specific cells, again they are capable to participate in the mitotic cell division in order to replace the damaged cells or injured cells. And here some specific cells, they are termed as quiescent cells or reversible cells. Is it clear? In majority of the living organisms, biological cells remain metabolically active, but temporarily they enter into an inactive stage or G0 stage. And here, depending on the body requirement, to replace the damaged cells or injured cells, again they participate in mitotic cell division. And such specific cells, they are termed as quiescent cells. Quiescent cells are otherwise known as reversible cells. Quiescent cells are reversible cells. And most commonly, in case of all the living organisms, mitotic cell division, it is observed only in case of diploid cells. But here there are certain exceptions to this particular strategy. Mitotic cell division in case of majority of the living organisms, it is observed only in case of diploid cells. But here, in case of certain living organisms like male honeybees, the specific mitotic cell division, even it is also observed in case of haploid cells. Is it clear? So let me write it here. Mitotic cell division is observed in diploid cells. But there are certain living organisms like male honeybees, where we observe mitotic division in haploid cells. Is it clear? And in addition to this, here we need to understand that in case of plants, mitotic cell division, in against to this particular strategy, in case of plants, mitotic cell division, it is observed both in case of haploid cells and diploid cells. Is it clear? In case of plants, mitotic division is observed both in haploid cells, and diploid cells. Is it clear? So here this is regarding the introduction of cell cycle and cell division in detail. And in the upcoming lecture session, we will be studying regarding the regulation of mitotic cell division in detail. So here I hope that this video will help you a lot. So if you like this video, just hit the like button and share it to your friends.